Hi everyone, so this video was inspired by some of your comments, so thank you all again for the ideas. In this video I'm going to be talking about what upgrades I would recommend for starter ships and how to earn money with your starter ships. Before I start though, I'm giving away an Avenger Titan, so look in the description for details if you're interested in that. So the ships that I'm going to be looking at today are the Mustang Alpha and the Aurora MR, which are the two options you have for an entry-level game package. And just as a disclaimer, I'm only really going to be showing you the combat capabilities of the ships, and the reason why is that that is the only time their unique characteristics really impact your money earning abilities. Also, combat is one of the best ways to earn money when you're starting off, so that you can build a base of money to do things like rent a prospector and go mining, or rent other ships, maybe like a Cutlass, if you want to start trading. You can't mine with either of these ships, and the cargo capacities they offer are not very useful, at least with the commodities that are available to trade right now. So that knocks two things off the list of alternatives to combat. That leaves box delivery missions, which as long as your ship can do them, it doesn't really matter what you do it in, as long as it's not super slow in atmosphere. Currently you can't do box missions with the Mustang Alpha since its cargo box is sealed, but don't be worried about that if you are a Mustang owner, because CIG has said that until they fix it so that you can do these box delivery missions with the Mustang, you will have a loaner that can do them. So I'm not sure what that is right now. I'm not sure if they're counting the freelancer as that, but at least in the past it's been if you own a Mustang Alpha, they give you a loaner Aurora. If you want to know about a box running route that is pretty good though, you can check out the video I did on that. To finish my point about combat though, the only other ways you make money are done on foot, so there's really no reason to look at anything else. So I'm going to start with the Aurora here, and in its stock form it's pretty tough to use for combat. It flies nicely with good maneuverability and decent acceleration, but it has very little firepower. Until you upgrade it, I'd stick to only doing crime stat level 1 and 2 bounties, because even the constellations here on this ECN alert were too tough for its 2 size 1 ballistic Gatlings. Now if you're familiar with the Auroras, you'll recognize that this is the LN variant and not the MR that I'm using right now, but I made sure to change the weapons to what a stock MR has so that the comparison is still good. Unfortunately the MR is not available for rent, so I was stuck renting an LN. So as you can see here, I failed the mission because even though I sat behind this constellation for minutes, nothing really happened to it, so it definitely needs some upgrades. Thankfully, this can be done for not a whole lot of money. So the loadout I'd recommend is basically what the LN comes with stock, which you can see here is 4 gimbaled size 1 CF series repeaters. If you're upgrading your MR though, you can wait to swap out the ballistic Gatlings, and then you're only spending about 10,000 credits to get 2 ballistic repeaters and the gimbals for them. So unfortunately I didn't get the constellations when I was trying out the upgraded loadout, but you'd have a much better chance of dealing with them. These parts are pretty common, so if you're going to upgrade, I'd recommend using this loadout website to see where it's most convenient for you to pick them up. Also, if you're looking to slightly bump up your quantum drive speed for around 10,000 credits, I'd recommend the Rush, but it's only slightly faster than the stock one, so it's up to you if that's worth it. In terms of the other components, you can use the site to compare other options, but I wouldn't really recommend upgrading them much, since no matter what you do, this is still going to be a starter ship, and in my opinion you'd be better saving that money to either rent other ships and mess around with them, or buy something like an Avenger Titan. Now moving on to the Mustang, I was kind of surprised by this ship. It's very fast and maneuverable, and even in its stock form it packs a decent punch. By default, it has 2 gimbaled size 2 weapons on the front. So these are going to be plenty to do crime stat level 1 through 3 bounties and ECN alert missions, and you're going to have fun doing them with how nimble this ship is. Also, it comes with the Rush quantum drive that I mentioned earlier, which in my opinion is one of the best size 1 drives if you want a balance of range and speed. So with all that said, I would still recommend upgrading this, and would actually recommend the same exact weapons that I put on the Aurora. At only 10,000 credits, it's worth having that extra bit of firepower. So as I demonstrate this thing's capabilities by blowing up these constellations, I want to explain more why I recommend this ship over the Aurora if you're going to get a starter pack. First of all, if you end up upgrading your ship through a CCU to another ship, the Mustang for some reason is valued at $30, where the Aurora is valued at $25. So you're just saving yourself $5 by going with the Mustang. Also, at least in the current state of the game, there's not a massive practical advantage to having a bed on board, so that advantage that the Aurora has isn't very useful. Also, like I said earlier, this ship is fast and fun to fly, so even if you earn something else in game, you'll probably still want to fly this occasionally. The Aurora isn't sluggish or anything, but it's just not as fast as this feels. Most importantly though, the Mustang is just much more combat capable because of those size 2 hardpoints. Size 2s are just much more powerful than size 1s. So to finish off this video, if you have an Aurora right now, you might want to consider melting it and swapping it out for a Mustang, just for the way that the game is right now. To me, it just seems like it's more practical for everything that you'd be doing with it right now. And if you want to do box deliveries, you'll have an option available for it doing that until they get the cargo box situation sorted out. But if you have either of these in game, you can improve them quite a bit for just a small amount of money, since both of them have empty hardpoints by default. However, like I said earlier, I wouldn't really recommend putting a ton of money into either of these ships, since something like an Avenger Titan is just a much more capable ship overall, and you can earn it reasonably fast, or you can put the money towards rentals. Just for example, for 20,000 credits, you can rent an Anvil Arrow for a day, which is a light fighter, and you can have a whole lot of fun with that. It's up to you though, and I'll link the site down below if you do want to look at upgrading the other components if you really are a fan of these ships. So hopefully this video was helpful, or at least interesting, and thank you guys for watching.